Okay, this is lesson 101, rounding mixed numbers. This is an easy one. So let's say that you have, let me look in the book, 7 3/4. So here's my number, 7 3/4. And they want you to round it to a whole number. A lot of times you don't need really accurate measurements. You just want to know generally about how much to get. So we're going to take this number and we're going to say we don't want a fraction. We want the nearest whole number. So I'm going to look at the denominator first, and I'm going to say fourths. So I'm going to break my number line into 4 equal sections because that's what the denominator is. And then I'm going to say, okay, I want to know if 3/4 is smaller than a half or greater than a half. So I see my 3/4 falls here bigger than a half. So I'm going to round this number, to 8. Right? So all I'm doing is looking to see whether my fraction part of that amount is more than a half or less than a half. If it's exactly half, then it rounds up. Okay, so I can break my next number, which was 6 2/5, into 5 equal sections again. So 1, 2, 3, that's where my halfway line is, 4, 5. And I didn't measure this, but it's pretty close. So I see that 2/5 is less than that halfway mark, right? So in that case, I'm going to round down, and I don't go to 5. All I do is chop off the fraction part. So 6 2/5 is closer to 6 than it is to 7. So this rounds to 6. Same deal with this last one. Oh, they multiplied and they rounded. Okay, so we have 8 7/8. So we're just going to do that part. And then 5 1/2. Sorry, 5 1/4. So 8 7/8. Oh, that's really, I know that's close to 9, right? Because 7/8 is really close to 8/8. So 7/8 is way over here. So that's going to round to 9. And I have 5 1/4. So that's going to round to 5. So then I have 9 times 5, because it's much closer to the 9. And the 5 1/4 is much closer to the 5. So her 45 was a very reasonable estimate. So let's say you don't want to do this. You're not good at drawing equal amounts, so you can't really tell where the half is. Look at what you can do. You can take your lined paper, and look, it's divided into equal sections already. So if your denominator is 4 and you need 4 sections, just count 4 lines. Look, 1, 2, and there's your halfway mark. Right? So there's equal amounts on either side. If your denominator is 8, count 8 lines. And then your halfway mark is 4 lines over. You probably won't need to do all this drawing. All you really need to do, think to yourself, what is half of whatever the denominator is? Okay? So, I'm doing a lot of paper flapping, sorry. So if I have, let's do that first one, 7 3/4. I'm going to think, okay, what's half of that 4? So if I had a number line and I had 7 and 8, what would be in the middle? It'd be half of that 4, so it'd be 2/4, right? So I know 2/4 is equal to a half. So I know that 3/4 is on this side, closer to the 8. If I had 8 7/8, I'm going to think to myself, what's half of 8? 4, right? So 8 here, 9 here, and I know that 4/8 is going to be in the middle. 7/8 is going to be much closer to the 9. So if you don't want to draw, all you have to do is think, what is half equal to? So 4/8 is the same as a half, and 7/8 is bigger than 4/8, so it's closer to the 9. That's kind of all this lesson is. It's not a hard one. Remember, when you round, You don't round down to 5. You just chop off if you round down. So 6 2/5 rounds to 6. 8 7/8 rounds to 9. So you can either go up one number or keep the number the same. Okay? All right, good luck.